If you ever get caught up thinking you're important, just remember, people are celebrating your position, your title, not you. Someone else in the future will own that title, that position, and that success when you're dead. Only the relationships remain. Seven money lessons. Number 15 from the TheAgileVC newsletter. How to understand money and how to use it wisely. Money, money, money. It's taken me this long to talk about money, and frankly, I've been thinking about writing about this for my kids anyway, and so it's good to get it out of my brain. Money runs the world, and every single day as an adult, you have to engage with this thing called money. Isn't it fascinating? I find it fascinating. This is the very subject in which we as adults have to engage with every day. This idea of money, but yet it's the very subject that isn't even remotely talked about or studied in school. So, what am I talking about? Management of personal finances, good financial responsibility, good financial management, and especially the right attitudes when it comes to saving money, the right attitudes and behaviors when it comes to investing money, the right attitudes and behaviors about spending money. So let's get into it. Emotional damage. I find that many experience emotional spending. Emotional spending is never a great idea. As I sometimes like to say, we always make our best ideas when we're highly emotional, or our best decisions, rather, when we're highly emotional. Yes. Emotional spending is exactly the type of spending that you don't want. Emotional spending equals emotional damage. These are the things I want to talk about. These are the things that you didn't learn in school about how to manage money, the right behaviors, attitudes, and how to control your emotions around all of it. Maybe it's just because the teachers in schools these days don't know financial responsibility yet either. Maybe that's why it never comes up. The teachers themselves aren't actually good with money, and maybe that's why they're there. Maybe that's why they're teachers, because let's be honest, certainly ain't nobody getting rich by being a teacher. Okay, we all know why the teachers are there. The teachers are there because they have a higher calling in life than you and I, us plebes. But we have to be intellectually honest here. Being a teacher is not a great way, certainly not a great way, to become extremely wealthy. So let's get to the point. Here are 7 lessons of money that I've learned over 4 decades of life. Number 1, learn to manage your money. Learn to manage your money. This is going to be easy and quick. Detail out your spending. Go to an Excel or Google document or a free Excel-based system and detail out your spending. It is fascinating to me how many people in life do not understand what their accounts actually look like. Understanding net versus gross income, understanding entertainment costs versus living costs. Create a budget. Stick to it. When you're blessed with more money, slam it in a debt and don't increase your lifestyle if you don't need to. That's pretty much it. If you get more money, don't change your lifestyle. It was fine the way it was anyway. You know, we talk a lot about, quote, seeing the whole in complex problems in Agile and Scrum. Likewise, we need to see the whole of our accounts. How do we know where things are going? We need to know where the money is flowing. So number 1, start documenting. Write it down. Number 2, the pursuit of pleasure. It leads to poverty in life in more than one way. This is where we get into the deeper stuff. The pursuit of pleasure when it comes to money. The pursuit of pleasure costs money. The pursuit of pleasure, it leads to poverty in life in more than one way. I have met individuals, mostly men, I don't hang out with many women, mostly men who live in a lifestyle of pursuing pleasure, and that leaves them broke in all sorts of ways. It also leaves them broken always, both tangibly, emotionally, and spiritually. You see, the pursuit of pleasure when it comes to money is that it is insatiable. Pleasure is insatiable. It is impossible to satisfy. Trust me, I've tried it. I've tried it when it comes to cars. I've tried it when it comes to other things as well. And the fact is that money will never help you truly satiate that desire. It'll only be cost accounting. It will only be a cost center in your life. Living for the pursuit of pleasure will only cost you everything. It'll leave you broke. Well, maybe not broke if you have millions of dollars or what have you, but it's going to leave you broke emotionally and spiritually. It's going to leave you empty because pleasure without purpose is a dead soul. Pleasure without a greater purpose produces a very empty life. Haven't you heard of the celebrities who pursued pleasure for far too long and now feel empty inside? All the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I guess the devil's promise, empty and impossible to fulfill. You end up being spent. You can't have all the sex in the world. You can't have all the drugs in the world. And you certainly can't have all the proverbial rock and roll in the world. At the end of the day, even the biggest rock stars, even the biggest celebrities, and those who you think have it all end up often, unfortunately, with a gun to their head or their mouth because they're so depressed. They have been left empty in life. The pursuit of pleasure leads to poverty. More than just money, it leaves poverty of the soul. Guys, don't get sucked into the world of pleasure and money. It's not a place that is worth being or ever living in. Number 3, being motivated by money makes you miserable. I can raise my hand. Yes, sir. Yes, indeedy. I've gone through phases in my life, my friends, in which I have been motivated by money. It makes you absolutely miserable. Why? Because people who are motivated by money are never content. They're never content, and they're always frustrated about the money aspect of X, the money aspect of Y, the money aspect of Z. It ruins and colors all of your experiences. I'm speaking from experience, my friends. Being money motivated ruins everything around you. It puts a gray cloud on everything you do. I can tell you examples of periods of my life early in marriage, 14 plus years ago, in which it was just a phase of life that I had to go through. It was more money focused than other times that I certainly know of now. It sucks the life out of everything. It sucked the life out of everything. I remember I couldn't even go to the aquarium without complaining about the price of the aquarium, complaining about the price of the parking ticket, complaining about the price of the popcorn, complaining about the price of everything. What's wrong with me? What was wrong with me? I had plenty of money at the time. I wasn't starving. We were going to the damn aquarium. Why do I gotta be complaining about the money aspect when I already committed to going? You see, people who are money consumed, they're motivated by money. They see everything through the lens of money and they're calculating the costs all the time. It's frustrating. It's terrible to be around these people. I'm talking from experience, my friends. Increasing an insatiable desire for the next deal and the next opportunity or where we can save or make more money. These types of thoughts are not thoughts that are producing value in relationships in life. One of the biggest problems with being motivated by money is it makes you compromise your values and your character, and sometimes even common sense. It frustrates you constantly. It makes you compromise that which you hold to be valuable because the next deal, the next opportunity to make just a little bit more money is far more important at the moment in time than your character or your personality or even your integrity. You know a couple of ironies that accompany this mental disease of focusing on money all the time? Your family actually suffers the most. I can speak from experience, my friends. Your family suffers the most, even though your desire is for them to enjoy the benefits that money may produce for them in their lives and their opportunities. You might say that's crazy talk. You're saying that maybe we can't even win here. Yes, if you're motivated by money, call it a character flaw. Your family gets to reap all the rewards of your hard work. They get to drive nice cars, live in a nice place, go to nice schools, get nice things. But I'll tell you guys, I'm here to tell you, hand raised, Scout's honor, the irony of being money focused is that your family actually suffers the most. They're the ones that can't stand to be around you. They're the ones who are always hearing you complain. They're the ones who are always thinking that you're going to nickel and dime and thinking about the cost. When you're having fun and you want to have great experiences in life, the cost should never even come up within the calculus of those decisions. And when they do, what a great way of ruining the moment. Did you really have to comment on the price of the ice cream, bro? I've been there, guys. Irony number 2, being money-oriented actually constrains your ability to make even more money. Being money-motivated actually constrains or limits your ability to make more money because spending time with money can never compare to spending time with people. Putting this another way, agonizing over all the details of money in your life in every situation that comes can never compare with spending time with people. Figuring out problems to solve is far more valuable to the world than trying to retrofit your product or service so that you can squeeze more money out of a customer or squeeze more money out of an event or squeeze more money out of a particular circumstance. Guys, you want to know what makes more money? Not squeezing people, not bleeding whatever is left of what you got. Spending time with people is where real money is made. It's where real problems are solved, where real conversation can happen. This is how you make real money. So the irony is that being money-oriented, being money-motivated, being money-focused actually constrains or limits your ability to make more money. Because when you're focused on money, you're not actually building anything or meeting anyone or having any conversations. Money motivation at the end of the day is the antithesis of mission motivation. Mission motivation gives you the ability to say no when it comes to money because if you're money motivated, guess what? You never say no to making more money. But the problem with never saying no is you end up saying yes to everything. And in turn, over time, you always end up compromising your values because you say yes to everything and then you try to figure out a way to get out of it. As a personal anecdote, I've never been motivated by money for extended periods of time. Usually I've been motivated by money for short periods of time, usually during a growth phase of a company or have to be financially ridiculously accountable to my investors, these types of things. And it puts me in a mood of just being super hyper money focused. It's not great, and I don't enjoy it, but it is temporary. I've met plenty of people, though, who've never grown out of this mental model, and they are miserable to be around. One of the biggest problems of being motivated by money as well is that there's this thing called death. It's relatively inescapable. Number 4, you came with nothing. You will leave with nothing. You came into this world with nothing. Guess what? You will leave with nothing. Money can only delay death. Money doesn't avoid it. At the end of the day, you came here with nothing, and you're going to leave this place with nothing. You need to see money for what it really is. Money is merely a tool. That's about it. It's a tool within your tool belt. Tools don't extend your life. But do you know what tools do? They make your life better, or at least that's what they're supposed to do. Tools don't remove responsibility for you to do the right thing in life, but tools help you to do the right thing and make it worth it. What I really mean here to say is that spend money on worthy causes. Spend money on worthwhile experiences. Spend more money on your family and your family's experiences over others. And use money as a mechanism to get where you need to be, not be the end result. Put money towards things that are worthwhile. Not to the pursuit of your own pleasures. We've already experienced that, especially if you've been adulting for a while now. You already know what that looks like. You've seen the stories. You've seen the VH1 behind the scenes, the MTV reel or whatever. You already know what it looks like. So since money can't avoid death, it only delays it. Use money as merely a tool to make the experience in life worth living. You also can't accumulate enough. And even if you accumulate enough at the end of the day, it's not going to be yours. It's going to be someone else's. One thing that's come to me in multiple rounds in my life is the stark realization that everything I've built and everything I've worked so hard for is actually going to end up being owned by someone else later in life. For example, this beautiful home that I've built for myself and my family. At the end of the day, it's not actually going to be mine. It's going to be owned by someone else. Someone else is going to buy it, and then they're going to live in this house, the house that I built. They're going to do things differently. They might extend it. They might remove certain parts of it. But at the end of the day, it's not mine. I'm going to perish, and I'm going to go away, and none of it was really mine anyway. None of it really mattered, actually. Number 5, when it comes to money, learn to know a good deal. Learn to know a good deal. Let me tell you the number 1 best kind of gut check when it comes to deals. It has to feel and sound like a good deal before it's actually a good deal. This is generic, might not be super helpful, but this number 5 is to learn to know a good deal. Everything has a cost to it. Everything has a cost. Physical, emotional, spiritual. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. Learn to understand the long-term costs of your decisions. The more that you get better at realizing this, realizing that everything has a cost, the larger picture of cost comes into play. Oh, and that car you wanted to get, the 1982 junker that you really wanted to, and they told your spouse you're going to fix up and it was going to be easy. What's the long-term costs of that? I can stare at a couple of those myself. Learn to know what is really a good deal. It has to sound and feel good in all the ways before it's actually a good deal. Don't allow yourself to rationalize yourself away from it. It has to both sound like a good deal and feel like a good deal. You have to count the cost. Everything has a cost, the physical, emotional, spiritual. Learn to understand the long-term costs of the decisions you make. Cost, in many cases, is only an issue often in the absence of value. Let me say that again. Cost is only an issue in the absence of value. Learn to purchase goods and services that align with your goals and personal values. You'd be surprised how constraining this is in a good way. If you actually purchase things based on values, you purchase things that are aligned with your goals, then you don't actually purchase that much. You don't accumulate a lot of crap. A lot of the crap that we buy, a lot of the junk that we buy with money is for mere entertainment. It's time bandits. It steals time from you. It takes away from your goals. Let's look at this in the positive for a second. If you were only purchased stuff that were aligned to your goals, you wouldn't have a lot. You wouldn't own a lot. You'd have a lot of useful tools, though, maybe, for making money. I'll give you one of my best examples. When I was going through my 3 master's programs, I lived in a single apartment. I rented out a 10 by 8 foot room, essentially. That was $300 all in, with internet and utilities. When I would sleep, I could almost touch both sides of the room with my feet and my arms stretched out. It was beyond minimalistic. I was optimized. I live super cheap because there was no point in purchasing anything opposed to just making sure that I can bring money in that'll be slammed towards the cost and expenses of these 3 master's programs. I did this for 3.5 years. I grinded through it. I only spent money on things that were aligned to my personal values and personal goals. You'll find how much money you save when you align yourself to the right goals and the right things in life. Number 6, money doesn't buy happiness. Sharing your wealth is real happiness. Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit, and I've heard plenty of people say that this is bullshit, and they've heard plenty of jokes like, quote, "I'd rather be crying in my Lambo than in my Chevy." Okay, yes, I understand this. Money doesn't buy happiness, but I'll concede that there is actually some truth that money can buy happiness temporarily. It really can for at least a moment. It's kind of like the pursuit of a pleasure. It's an insatiable idea of happiness. Yeah, it comes and it goes, but it's fleeting and it's just for a moment in time. But the best way to be happy is to share your wealth with others. Let me say that again. One of the best ways to be happy is to share your wealth with others. Or, said differently, money can buy happiness temporarily, as everything tends to grow dull over time, does it not? Doesn't everything tend to grow dull? Even the Lambos, guys. Even the Lambos tend to grow dull over time. Even if you put flamethrowers on there and straight pipe the thing, and it's the loudest damn thing that you can hear for 2 miles away, even that gets dull. Even race cars get dull. Every pretty little thing gets dull over time. Sometimes reminds me whenever I go to Europe and I take tours of these huge castles and these fancy homes and these huge just buildings. They're beautiful. But for those who are inside of it all the time, even then it gets dull. This is the nature of the world. Familiarity breeds contempt over time, does it not? Familiarity breeds contempt. It's too easy. You don't appreciate it like you used to. Money can buy happiness temporarily, as everything tends to grow dull over time, but sharing your wealth with others consistently allows for richer and fuller experiences in life. I love sharing my wealth with others and experiences because sharing my wealth with others, that brings in my mind the eternal connectedness, contentment, eternal well-being, eternal feeling good juju. When others can benefit from my wealth that you've accumulated, it's a better way of living. I would go as far as to say that there was once a famous prophet back in the day, in a famous book, who talked about money pretty often, actually. He generally, when it came to money, said that you should use money to influence others, to use money to help others, to use money to take care of others, and so there you too shall gain in those rewards. You too shall gain in contentedness. You too shall gain in the value of giving life to others through your wealth. I like this idea from this old prophet back in the day. I think maybe this guy knew what was up. Number 7. Being all you can be in this world is possible for everyone, with or without money. Being all you can be in this world is possible. Being all you can be is possible for everyone, but being rich, being rich with material wealth is not for everyone. Sorry, guys. I think that's just something that people need to wake up to. Being all you can be is possible for everyone. Yes, you could be everything that you can be. You can be the best version of you. You can be the most contented and successful and grateful individual of life that you've been given by the good Lord above. You can be all that you can be, but being rich with material wealth is not for everyone. Sorry, not sorry. Having lots of money doesn't mean that you're successful, or even happy or content, or even that you're a good person. I think we could probably think of plenty of examples where people have lots of money, but they're not good people. Having lots of money just means you have lots of money. That's it. Having lots of money just means you have lots of money. So where should your identity be anyway? Having your identity inside is where your real wealth is. I've talked about this on other podcasts. How do I know this? Well, let me give you my best example. My kids, my children don't care about my money, just like I didn't care if my daddy had money. I didn't care if my daddy had money. I just cared that he spent time with me. In actuality, he didn't have much money anyway. And I didn't care about my dad's financial position. I just cared that he was there. I just cared that my mom was there. I just cared that my brothers and sisters were there during the sporting event, during the spelling bee, during the competition, during a moment when I really needed them. That's what I actually cared about. Nothing else really mattered. So, for those out there who have children, that's all they care about. They care about being with you. And if you don't have children, you know what people care about? They care about having relationships with you. If I look back in my old life, my younger life, my formative years, my elementary and middle school, or even my high school, I never cared about what money my parents had. Frankly, it wasn't even within the calculus of my decisions back then anyway. I'll tell you, even if it were one of the options, it would probably be one of the last options. The first option I can tell you very clearly, though, is that the thing I cared most is that they were there. That's why I know that this inside me, being present and having experiences and using my money with experiences with others, that is what it's all about. Using my money to help others. Using my money to further others only brings good treasure in life to you, good blessings, and good juju to you. Nobody really cares about the money you have. They care about what's inside. If you are one of those individuals who is greatly blessed with lots of wealth, people will bless you even more if you use your wealth for them. If you use your wealth to create awesome experiences to help people, to put them to the worthy causes in life, well, that's where the real riches are. That's where the real wealth is. And that's what they don't teach you in school. If you ever get caught up thinking you're important, just remember, people are celebrating your position, your title, not you. Someone else in the future will own that title, that position, and that success when you're dead. Only the relationships remain. All the best.